If there's one thing you'll never catch us doing at PwC Chiropractic, it's only giving you one choice for your child's health. We want to look at it as a sequence, or really as the root cause, and there has never been a better thing to do this with than with anxiety and overwhelm in kids. I want to tell you a story about Haley. Haley's a patient whose parents found us because she was struggling with school refusal. She would just feel really anxious and overwhelmed. She would oftentimes feel sick in her tummy, just leading to meltdowns and extreme behaviors, all because she was anxious and overwhelmed with school. Now, 4.4 million Americans every year struggle with anxiety. And especially with kids, this can lead to school refusal, decreased social interactions, not wanting to do things, go to birthday parties, and just live everyday life. And for parents, this can be so overwhelming because all you want your kiddos to do is have good experiences. But if they're refusing to do them, there's oftentimes no way to make that change. Now, compound that where the traditional medical response to this is predominantly medication, many parents are looking for other options. And that's what I really want to talk about today, because being nervous and anxious can be a very normal human response. But when kids perceive threats, they perceive things from their environment, triggering that fight, flight, or freeze response, that often can go way overwhelming, and it can lead to debilitating anxiety. When there's school refusal, not going to the parties, not having the social interactions, not wanting to doing those things, and those can create significant issues in our daily lives. Now, common symptoms with kids of this can range in a variety of different things. A lot of times, anxiety, anxiousness, overwhelm can get connected with the gut and digestion, where they feel like they have tummy aches. They might get more constipated. They might feel like, I don't know why, but I just don't feel good, Mom. And you're like, well, where don't you feel good? And they don't really know. They're just like, I just don't. It just doesn't feel right. My tummy might hurt, can't take a deep breath, feel really stressed and in pain, because there is a really physical side of anxiety that ties in, because when one part of the body is affected, the mind, every part of the body is affected. And that's where we look at it as pediatric chiropractors, because subluxation or stress within the nervous system really affects this in kids. Now, there's two sides of the nervous system, the sympathetic response and the parasympathetic response. Now, the sympathetic response is the fight, flight, or freeze response. And that's oftentimes where kids get stuck when they struggle with anxiety. When they struggle with anxiety, that heightens that fight or flight response, causes them to go into protection. And a lot of times when kids have experienced this with a lot of experiences over time, that vicious cycle or that loop becomes neuroplastic in not a good way for them. And what that does is creates these experiences to where their nervous system needs to go and they can't get out of that overwhelm. Now, our goal is to allow the body to know when it's safe and know when it should be in protection. We should be able to be in that sympathetic side when we need to be protected, or we need to get out of a situation, or we need to play sports or take a test. It's okay to be on that sympathetic side, but we also need to be able to turn that off so we can turn the parasympathetic side on. And that's the rest, digest, social, and just really enjoy and refuel with life. Now, when kids get stuck in this really kind of debilitating sympathetic overload, that is often due to one aspect of the nervous system, the vagus nerve, really being overwhelmed. Now, the vagus nerve sits right here, right beneath the cranium, and the vagus nerve is designed to be a sensory modulator for the body. It connects to the tummy, the gut, and then up into the lungs, even the heart, and it really controls a lot of what we call the autonomic or automatic function of the body. It's actually designed to help cause that parasympathetic system to go up and our sympathetic system to tone down. So it gets our kids out of stress. When there's stress there, that often happens for kids, throughout their life, whether it be from a difficult birth process, where trips, falls in development, emotional stressors along the way, or even chemical or toxic stressors that have come in, it causes this vagus nerve to not be as active and be more stuck in sympathetic dominance for kids. Now, what we love to do to help is we want to measure this vagus nerve. We want to look at what this vagus nerve controls, the autonomic nervous system overall, to determine, okay, Is a kiddo stuck in sympathetic dominance, or are they able to adapt and go back and forth? For Haley, this was absolutely the case. Because her nervous system was stuck more in sympathetic dominance and overwhelm, she couldn't get out of that. No matter what mom or dad did, no matter the star charts, no matter the rewards, no matter the bribing, they couldn't get her to turn off that protective mode that said, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be safe. You just gotta get through this experience, and I promise it's gonna be good. But it just didn't feel like in her mind that it would. That's what we wanna measure, because if we can measure that, then we can develop a care plan to say, okay, let's help take that stress away. And by taking that stress away, what that does, it allows the brain to interpret better and be able to balance that sympathetic stress and that parasympathetic stress. So if your kids have struggled with anxiety, with overwhelm, with any type of behaviors that you feel you've done all the things that could be tied then back to their nervous system, let us help. Let us measure it, let us develop a care plan, and look into how we can help kids. Because a lot of times with big things like anxiety, overwhelm, and emotions, it goes a lot deeper than the surface. And that's why we're here to help. So if you need any more info, comment below, click on our DM, go and check out the articles on this. We would love to help you find the deeper solution, because if you're like Haley's parents, you tried everything and just nothing was working. So let us help you to dig deeper to get to the root cause.